cancel our flight. We got here as they were closing.
Welcome to Places and Races, where we travel to Poland. We hit HYROX Warsaw and built a vacation around it. We'll share race logistics, travel tips, and the highs and lows, plus a full recap.
So we're in Chicago and trying to get to Warsaw, and we've run into quite the snafu. We had weather, cancel our flight. We got here as they were closing the gate, and they wouldn't let us on the plane.
I think there was a cloud in the air.
Then they tried rescheduling us for a flight that got in on Thursday night after HYROX. Finally, we were able to get one that gets us in Wednesday night at 9. So this is a shit show so far.
Hey, why'd you get the cut?
This is our room for our unexpected layover in Chicago. $120 through booking.com. Last minute at like midnight last night. They had rooms available, and we ended up on the 8th floor. So we got a great view of Cane's Chicken and Kava. So I guess we can call that a win.
Not too shabby. Waffle makers, coffee.
And after much late night work, Andrea has us a connection going to London, and then in theory we're going to Warsaw 45 minutes after we land, but this whole thing's been quite the mess, but we'll see where we end up. We're going to go explore Chicago for a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll see how public transit is to downtown Chicago. We're going to the Riverwalk, so this is the most efficient way.
No matter what it is, it's better than American Airlines customer service.
Exactly. Uber's like $80 and 45-minute drive. So. All right, on we go. Took a wrong turn there. If you follow the signs, you won't miss a turn.
Hello, we're in Chicago on the Shoreline Sightseeing Architectural Tour to see all of the great architecture in the city of Chicago. Although we hadn't originally planned a Chicago layover, we made the most of it and ended up actually liking the city a lot. We booked the Chicago River Cruise for about $50 a person on Viator. It took about 90 minutes. We had great views. There's a bar on board and full restrooms. There's easy access via the Chicago Blue Line, and all we did was buy a $5 day pass and got to and from the airport really easily. And now to the main event, Warsaw, Poland. We stayed at the Puro Warsaw Centrum. It was about $150 or $200 a night. It had a modern feel with a restaurant on the bottom floor, a rooftop bar, a spa, and a free espresso machine in the lobby. Everything you need is within a 5 to 10 minute walk, but there's also affordable Bolts and Ubers.
All right, a little room service before we're going to take a quick nap, because we've been up for 24-ish hours at this point.
82 hours.
So, looks pretty good.
Got some noshi, got some bruschetta, chicken breast, some Polish mineral water.
And then, Andrea's tattoo. HYROX Warsaw. Spectator. And then athlete as soon as you walk in, and it took about 3.5 minutes to get checked in, so super efficient.
All right, next up, HYROX Warsaw, which is held at the PGE Narodowy. We picked this race because it was in mid-April, there weren't very many US options, and we always wanted to visit Poland. It's also the last chance this year to qualify for Worlds, so we expected to see some strong competitors. The stadium itself is not near the city center, it's a mile or two away, so we took a Bolt. It was only $4 to $5 and super easy to get to. When we got to the stadium, the lines were super short. It took a minute or two to get through registration. If you were a spectator only, it was also super quick, maybe a minute or less. They had good food options inside, which were hot or cold options, and everything was pretty affordable. The HYROX store was a little disappointing. I had set myself up for getting a HYROX sweatshirt with Warsaw on it, and they didn't have any options for that. However, they did have hair braiding for about $20, and you could buy your ticket straight from the HYROX store itself. Bathrooms for spectators were a little bit of a pain. You had to leave and go out to the lobby every time, which meant if you had a backpack, you had to go through security and get it searched every time, which was slowing things down a little bit. One big difference from the races we've done in the United States is they don't call your heat ahead of time, and there's not like a warm-up hype person in the tunnel with you. It's just a screen playing the rules. So you need to stay on top of your timing, and it's not as energetic as like the US races we've been to. I'd say overall the warm-up area was probably a 5 out of 10, mainly because the female bathrooms only had one stall that was working and there wasn't any toilet paper. It was also super cold. One interesting thing that we hadn't seen before in prior races is that they had fast lane police, which was kind of funny, but it was also pretty helpful because it did keep that lane clear. On the plus side, spectating was really easy. The layout made it simple to move between stations. There was plenty of seating, and you could see most of the race from the stadium seats, which is really nice and convenient. If you are in a race, you get access for free all week, which saves money on spectator tickets. Just be ready for HYROX station number 9 because there is a ton of steps before and after the race. Overall, it was a really solid event. Some logistics could have been better, but we thought it had a great atmosphere, and they even set some world records that weekend. So we were a little crazy and literally left our HYROX race and walked to the train station where we boarded a train to Krakow. It was about $50 per person in business class, super easy to get to and easy to find our train as well. From Warsaw, it is about a 3-hour train ride to Krakow. We stayed at the Puro Krakow Stare Miastu. We had booked our tour ahead of time through Viator. It was about $100 a person, and they do sell out. Our tour guide picked us up from the hotel and drove us the hour and 15 minutes to Auschwitz. It was a very heavy experience. Our group had about 25 people, but it was very rushed and very crowded, and it was hard to process everything in the time that we had. After Auschwitz, they took us by car to Birkenau, and that was less crowded and less rushed. I do recommend going, just try and get a smaller group or pick a less busy time than first thing in the morning. After we got back to Krakow, we went to Old Town, where we had done some research and wanted to eat at the Wolf Pit. It's a Witcher themed restaurant. You have to check it out if you go to Krakow and you're at all a nerd. So here is the Wolf's Pit Tavern, also known as Wilczy Dół. It is a complete themed restaurant after the Witcher TV series. Here we're exchanging our local currency for the tavern money, which gives you a little discount on your food and drinks that you can use for archery or axe throwing as well. The menu has a drink option that comes in a potion. They have alcoholic and non-alcoholic versions. It's definitely worth it. Overall, we really had a fun experience.
And
Hi, from Places and Races. We're at the Vodka Bar in Old Town Krakow. First, I'm going to be trying from the Vintage Flight is the rye vodka. First time ever. Yep. Yep. That's all I got for that one.
Alright, wormwood vodka.
Here in our second place. In our second place, we can make a reservation for 6.
It's really good. Tastes like absinthe.
It does taste like absinthe.
Unless you want to split up and
Between the HYROX yesterday and the vodka today, what's the likelihood we're going to be able to walk to the train?
Me 100%.
Krakow Old Town is one of those places that's really easy to explore. You can book some pretty inexpensive tours on Viator, but we just chose to walk it ourselves. It's super safe, really clean, and there are endless options for food and drinks everywhere you look. There are people out at all hours, so it really has a good energy. If you don't want to walk, you can do a horse-drawn carriage ride, you can do a bike tour. There are plenty of ways to get around and see everything. Overall, it's really easy, enjoyable area to spend time in, whether you have a plan or you're just wandering around like we did. All over that little guy on his little bike. In 1990, Joke's owner, Joke the dog, hence the statue, died of a heart attack near this roundabout. The dog, Joke, remained here for a year waiting for his master. He was fed by the inhabitants of Krakow, and it aroused surprise and sympathy. So people would come by and feed him every day, and he never left this spot. After a year of waiting, he accepted a new owner, Maria Mueller. She later died in 1998, and he escaped and was later killed. I'll have to do that again. It's so sad.
Let me help.
It's so sad.
So the end of the story is the dog gets run over by a
Moving train. I
train.
think he committed suicide.
Good Lord, this poor guy.
But so this is the statue is the most faithful
How
canine.
bad do you feel about laughing at
The
that
most.
story?
It's so sad. The,
Potato pancakes are here.
it's somewhere between potato pancake and a hash brown. Ours were more
They
like
look yummy. Poland is safe, clean, and efficient. The total trip costs $5,000. Excluding airlines and HYROX, we only spent $1,000 in Poland. The average dinner at a nice restaurant costs about $60 US. Transportation is easy through Bolt, costing $4 to $5 per ride. They are very efficient and quick to respond. Poland is absolutely worth visiting. Even if it's your first time in Europe, we will absolutely visit again.